Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and basically yes, I've just watched the current highlights and I've just seen Manchester United 2 goals. That's all I wanted to see. Yeah, the two good goals, to be quite fair in my opinion. Rashford getting both of the assists, Lukaku scoring his first goal in like 12, 13 games because he has been struggling this season. And yeah, so it was Rashford who played the ball through, Lukaku was in the box and he whacked it in, and that was 2-1. Lovely second goal though from Ander Herrera, lovely work down the right hand side from Rashford, got into the box, crossed it in, played a low ball into Herrera, and Herrera flicked it in near the near post, and that was 2-2. Very good, lovely little flick from Ander Herrera. So I have seen Manchester United goal. Lovely second goal from Southampton as well from that free kick as well, and a great first goal as well from currently Southampton. But as I currently said, in the game there was, I'm going to be discussing with you about Jose Mourinho. So potentially 16 shots, 11 for Man U, 9 chances created from Southampton, 12 created from Manchester United. Man United, I think, had 59% possession. They had 12% of possession. But as I said, my opinions on Jose Mourinho is he's potentially we're winless now in his last 3 Premier League games. We've lost 4 games this season. We've drawn 4 games. I think we've won 5 or we've won 6 or something like that. And potentially our goal difference is absolutely woeful. Potentially to me, Jose Mourinho's style of play is bad. His managerial style at the club's bad. And potentially I want the board to recommend someone else to take the job at Manchester United. Potentially you saw how frustrated he was today, Jose Mourinho. Potentially we found ourselves 2-0 down in the first 20 minutes. We know Mourinho's under pressure at the club, considering the bad results this season, considering that since he came, he hasn't met the expectation levels at the club. He won 3 trophies in his first season. A lot of money's been spent in all managerial roles since Fergie retired. Jose Mourinho spent a lot of money, spent just under £400 million on 11 players, as he has said, but I just considering that he goes on about his history, that considering that he's what he's achieved and what he's won in the past, he's proven in the Premier League, he's discussed about it a lot, he's publicly run for criticising players, and now Mourinho's come out and said he thinks Man United will only sign one player in the January window. He feels as though Man United won't sign any top class players or any Galactico players. This is what Mourinho's basically says. He has doubts for the January window, but I said the board need to react to Jose Mourinho. Today, the first 20 minutes, Southampton absolutely dominated us. You went 2-0 up, and then, the performance was absolutely bad for Manchester United. And we know he made, 5 changes, for midweek against Young Boys. Obviously, it changed the system defensively, as we all currently know. Got a good record at Southampton. I haven't lost to them since 2016 under Louis Van Gaal. We lost to them at Old Trafford, but we haven't lost at St Mary's since 2003. We've come back against Southampton 8 different occasions and beat Southampton as we all currently know. So we've come from behind 8 different occasions and currently beat them. As we know, as said, we have winnable games till Christmas. We dropped points against Crystal Palace at home last week. We've dropped points against Southampton this week, but Southampton will potentially more frustrated because there was winning the game 2-0, so they will be frustrated that they didn't win the game because potentially Mark Hughes is in a sort of similar situation at Mourinho. Mark Hughes under pressure, with Southampton. Mourinho's under pressure United, considering Southampton in really bad form this season. They've only won 1 game all season in the Premier League. We're currently in a position that we shouldn't be in. We're sitting 7th with 16 points from top. We're 6 behind top 4, and we could be potentially 9 points behind top 4 if Chelsea and that beat Fulham tomorrow. And obviously, Arsenal play Tottenham tomorrow as well. We know Mourinho missed out on a lot of potential targets. He has been frustrated. We know he has had disputes with the players, but his managerial style, I don't think he suits the trappings of this club. And everyone, people have questioned about his tactical game plan, his team selection, and he did change it today. He went obviously with a 3-5-2. The 5-3-2 formation. Obviously Lindelof's out till mid-December this month. Sanchez is out until January. Feels like he'll be out for a long time. Bailey out. Bailey not featuring. Smalling not there. Darmian not there. So potentially Mourinho he went with a 5-3-2. He went De Gea, Ashley Young, the right back. Obviously he's been using him as a right back anyway. He went with what's his name? He went with Jones, Scott McTominay, Matic at centre back. Left back Luke Shaw, midfield Matic, Fellaini, Herrera and Pogba, and up front Romelu Lukaku and Marcus Rashford. As I said, it was good to see that we got ourselves back into the game from 2-0 down. As a rare record's not good this season, only won, is it 3 away from home all season? You know, every game in the Premier League this season that we have won, we have only won by 1 goal deficit. Apart, the only game we won by more than 1 goal deficit was Burnley away, which was obviously 2-0. And you know, I just can't think of any game this season where Manchester United have performed. You know, we only seem to be, as we've shown today, signs today, we only seem to perform, show some heart, desire, or passion is when we desperately need to, when we're in a position where we have to perform, or you know, that's the only time we seem to perform. And we don't know how to start a game, potentially as we've shown today. As soon as we went 2-0 down, all of a sudden Man United come out of the blocks and started playing. Why don't we do that anywhere? Why do we always have to do it when we're in a losing position, or when we desperately, you know, have to do it? I just don't understand it at this club, and I think Mourinho's changed the whole identity of the club. I think he's changed the whole everything at this club, and I think the players aren't getting the best out of Mourinho. I don't think Mourinho's getting the best out of the players. And potentially for me, the board and the owners need to react now fastly before it gets worse and worse and worse. I don't think we're going to elevate to that high level under Jose Mourinho. Potentially, I think it's time for the board and the owners to think about and to recommend the right man to come in at Manchester United to address the problems, to suss out, you know, to try and get us back being competitive and try and get us back challenging for major honours, you know, because we are 2 or 3 years at least off the league, as we all currently know. But second half today, there was nothing. Southampton showed nothing in the second half. Man United showed nothing in the second half as well. And potentially Mourinho said he thought Man United were going to win, you know, in the second half. I thought Man United were going to get the win because obviously we came back from 2-0 down. And as I said, he said in his press conference, you know, as he said last week against Crystal Palace, there was no heart, no desire, not enough intensity. As I said, but this week he said there was some positive signs. He mentioned that we lost a lot of balls in the midfield, so potentially we were lacking in the midfield. And Mourinho mentioned this, you know, potentially, you know, that we lost a lot of balls in midfield. He said we lost a lot of balls in midfield. We lost a lot of balls due to our transition to the last third, which is difficult to have that continuity. He mentioned basically we did well in the last 15-20 minutes of the first half. He said he was on about the right passes, or the right choice of pass. He mentioned the right choice of pass. He also mentioned the right choice of pass. And he mentioned connecting he mentioned connecting with the attacking players. He also mentioned about the connected attacking players. What else did he say? Now I can't fully remember what he said. He also mentioned about accelerating the game as well. Did Jose Mourinho? But he said in the second half we went back to that dynamic, you know, where we lost balls in midfield. And he mentioned apart from the interference in our attacking play in the midfield, there was positive take out of the game. He said we show good spirit and fight, you know, to come back from 2-0 down and come back to 2-2. This is what Mourinho's mentioned in his in his post-match interview. I can't give you exactly everything he said because I can't remember everything he said, but I can give you key things that he said in his post-match interview. I said, but defensively very, very bad. We've got one of the worst goal differences this season. We definitely are crying out for an attacker as well. And potentially Southampton, you know, had 2 of their young players starting today. One of them got the assist for their first goal. They had obviously key players out as well. They had Shane Long out. They had, what's his name? Ryan Bertrand. Shane Long. Danny Ings. I think he's missed quite a few Southampton's games through injury. And Sam Gallagher, Southampton had out as well. But potentially, I think it's now time for the board to be ruthless and step down and get Jose Mourinho out of this current job. And we have got a lot of players, you know, still coming to the end of the deals, and the board and owners, you know, have to focus on this as well. But in second half today was no heart, no passion, no desire. And I said Mourinho's changing the whole identity of this club, and I think it's time now for the board and owners to recommend the right man to come in, address the problems, and get us back to a winning silver, and to be in a get us in a commanding position, you know, where we should be. Potentially, if Fergie hasn't worked out, didn't work out under Moyes, he was there 9 months. Didn't work out under Van Gaal for a year or two. He obviously got players in there's 6 of them players still. He got 12 in, but obviously 6 went off, and 6 of them are still here. And the money we spent, since Alex Ferguson, we have spent a lot, and potentially it just potentially, hasn't worked out. And what's happened to the, type of players that we had: Giggs, Scholes, Van Nistelrooy, Solskjaer, Vidic, Ferdinand, Carrick, Scholes, all them type of players that we had, what's happened, what has happened, to Manchester United Football Club. I just can't get my head around it. I can't think of one game this season. We've been lucky this season, again, we could have lost today, we could have lost last week at home to Palace, lucky to win away at Juventus in Champions League, lucky to win midweek against Young Boys, scored in the last minute there, Marion Fellaini rescuing us in that game as well. Newcastle at home, potentially lucky in that game, 2-0 down, come back in second half and won 3-2. So why are we struggling against these small oppositions, especially? Why? We wouldn't ever see this under Alex Ferguson. Under Alex Ferguson, we had 3 decades of success with him. He had great players. There were still mediocre players in the mix, as usually always is. But we're getting silverware. Usually with Fergie, we'd lose potentially 5, 6 in a full season. We've already lost 4 in our first 14 games. It could have been more games we could have lost, because obviously we've had to come back and, potentially we only seem to play when we desperately have to, when we're persuaded to start playing, probably when we're 2 goals down. That's the only time we seem to play for one half and the other half we don't seem to play. I just don't understand it at the moment. I thought when we come back to 2-2, Manchester United had the confidence to go on and win the game because we was 2 goals down, but it just didn't happen because there was chances in the game. I can recall Southampton had chances of their own, Man United had chances of their own as well. The only positives is it was good to see Lukaku get his name on the score sheet. It was good to see Rashford. I do apologise about that. Whilst I was on my live interruption, my current battery drained, so it's really lagging this. So I do apologise about that interview, guys. I'm really sorry that it currently went off. Then it's lagging now. Is this stream a little bit weird? Let me just try and this out. It's doing me head in. It keeps lagging. I do apologise about that, guys. It did go off. I'm potentially, so Mourinho, I think, needs to get out of this club as soon as possible, as I said. And sorry if it keeps freezing, so you might not be able to hear what I'm fully saying now because it might start crackling. So I do apologise about that. So what's your reactions on the games today? I'd like to know your comments and, drop a like. I'd like to know your comments below. You always give it that fan opinion. What do you think to today's game? And there'll be more live videos coming up very soon. Indeed, and we know we've still got David Hay coming to the end of his deal. We've got a catalogue of players coming to the end of the deal as well, and we have got players out. It'd be interesting to see how Mourinho lines up against Arsenal on Wednesday. It's going to be a very tough game indeed, considering the form Arsenal are in at the moment. But potentially, my opinion, Mourinho needs to go. We need to try and appoint Zinedine Zidane into the job. Satisfied with their manager. Zinedine Zidane's got a good pedigree. He's won honours where he's been. He's managerless now. According to his son, it's confirmed he's going to be back in management soon. Is Zinedine Zidane? He was just potentially just having a rest. He was, Real Madrid manager, for quite a few. Be the favourite to take the job at Old Trafford. He's obviously won awards himself. So yeah, potentially he could be the next Manchester United manager, or he could go to Bayern Munich. I don't know, but I just want Mourinho out of this club as soon as possible. So anyway, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. Give me points today of what you think to the game. The midfield was the main problem for me today, of what Mourinho said as well. He's mentioned the midfield in his post-match interview. So yeah, I'd like to know your fan opinion. So anyway, guys, that's everything to do today. As I said, drop a like and there'll be more live videos coming up very soon. Peace.